Welcome. Now, there's a few radical things that I've learned over the last few years. My diet has changed a lot. I'm eating different things and different timings of how I eat. I fast. I fast usually 8 to 16 hours, sometimes 24, and sometimes 30 hours also. So, this has changed my life radically, and I'm doing this because I've learned quite a few things that has changed my mind over the few years of what's normal and what I need to be careful of. So, as I've said on this channel, I went through a quite rough um, upbringing and family that was quite revolving around toxic traits and a lifestyle that is fake and um, disingenuine, inauthentic. So what I learned is the topic of uh, finance and the world. The world works in a way where the system is allowing people that are disingenuine, that are lying about your health, about foods, about what you spend time on, work, the projects that you do, how you speak. It's all a system and it's all a training. And from school, you're taught to feed the system rather than question life and question the system itself. So they keep you off yourself, off centered. So you end up chasing a lot to do things that you think are right rather than you feel are right. So I've noticed that there's a lot of lying going on. There was a lot of lying going on in my family where I had to adjust and I had to learn things on my own feet. And one of them is how people in power can lie. And people in power, when they lie, they're quite inconsiderate of how it's going to affect the people around them. What I had to do is I had to learn what's dangerous and what's not by myself without any guardrails or any helping hand, really, to make life meaningful, healthy, and present. That's one of the biggest words. I wasn't present for a long time. And even when I was in my safe space a lot, very often. And now I have it more. My life is more structured around safe space. Like even being in danger is, I feel myself, and I feel I'm able to perform without external pressure that is making me off-centered, not myself. One of them is food, as I've said. I'm more careful of what I buy, and I realize that 95% of everything that is sold on markets, supermarkets, and shops in the UK is fake. It's rubbish. And as a kid, I was eating a lot of. I'm not going to go into the processed stuff because that's logical. Many people already know. I was eating a lot of crisps. My mum was buying, and a disregard to what is the truth. A disregard to what's natural, what you're supposed to do, what's abnormal. It was just the norm. The abnormal was the norm. Taking shortcuts was the norm, and not caring about the consequences. Everything in life has consequences by nature, even. And we're supposed to respect nature. You're supposed to respect, otherwise, you get damaged and the people around you get damaged. So I was eating a lot of things that would be cope, like I was eating cereal a lot when I wouldn't have food from my mum, because there was a sort of control aspect of my household where control was like a main area of my life, where it was I needed to be careful of being controlled of. And when you get controlled too much and too often, you lose your sense of self, and that's like the most crucial aspect of someone. So I needed to protect that too often. So I needed to be vigilant. Anyways, I would eat cereal, and I wouldn't realize why I would never lose weight. I would go to gym, I would run, I would walk a lot, 15,000 steps minimum daily. I remember I went a whole year, about a year, where I walked and I ran, not ran, but I was jogging and walking minimum 15,000 steps per day. And I wasn't losing weight because of my diet, obviously. And I was like, I wasn't eating much, so how am I still not losing weight? Well, there's periods of times when you should be eating and when you shouldn't be. And I didn't know this. I just thought as long as I keep it low, as long as I eat little, I'll be losing weight, which wasn't true, because it depends on what you eat and the timing of when you eat. So if there is a lot of you're neglecting main food, that's really bad. You're neglecting main meals and main food, and you're just having a little bit of cereal, you're having a little bit of a snack, a little bit of nuts, and a little bit of this and that. It's really, really bad for you. That's what I realized in my life. And from the household that I grew up in, I realized that a lot of lies goes on in this world, and it's in the professional field as well. So when I was at uni, I realized the papers that I'm reading, many of them are biased. Many of them, because they're biased, they are inconsiderate of what they are doing and how they're manipulating people's field of view and reality. It's kind of like gaslighting, but also unintentional gaslighting, where people, many in the field, prioritize their reputation, their professionalism, also it's called, rather than actually being real. Like what's the case, and why are we even researching about a particular area that you are only interested in, rather than the whole topic itself. And it still continues. Like there's no reduction of the lies that is being said. It's still continuing. The system feeds it and rewards it. So I made it a life mission to avoid these kinds of lies, make better judgments, better decisions for myself. And hopefully I want to get to a stage where I create apps and I create services where people are able to make better decisions over the hoard of lies. It's like finding a needle in a haystack with the current climate, the current conditions that we're in. And it's hard to not only be yourself, I've been a bit through that, but to make good decisions about what is right and what's wrong. So right now I'm keeping track of what's making me feel good, the things that I eat, and what's bad for me. Even though it might be plain, things like bread, for example, wasn't very clear for me that it was bad for me. 90% of breads were bad, and even if it's healthy, even if it's organic bread, it's still bad for you if you eat too much. And the days of today, we've lost the quantity of what is too much and what is too little. So I needed to recalculate each thing that is too much or too little. So that's what I'm doing. In the later stages, I'll be calculating what's healthy amount and what's not. And what I've got right currently is how often I should be eating. I'm doing that really well. One of the biggest changes I made was obviously eating and what time I eat, but also getting a scale, a weight scale. I think everyone in the world needs one, even if you don't think so, even if you occasionally look at it. It shouldn't be occasional. I think you should do it every single day, because you realize when you eat something, when you go to the toilet, and when afterwards and before, it's always changing, and you're more aware of what changes and when you should be careful rather than have a very strict time. I know there's a lot of apps currently that are running a paid subscription, which is fine. It's just the problem is they're very strict, and they make a very strict timing, especially designed for you, which I don't think is too good because it's training you to rely on the app rather than yourself. So one of my life principles is to help other people to rely on themselves rather than rely on what an expert is saying. Not that I don't believe in experts. I like the topic of an expert existing, but the problem is many of them, too many of them, are experts, or maybe just having the title of experts, but that are deceiving people, and deceiving themselves very often as well. What I've seen this from my own parents. That's why I know that experts also do this, and from uni and from researching in my spare time, I realized that not only my parents, but people in the expertise field, they're also lying to themselves and other people about what's good and what's bad. So hopefully, in the near future, I plan to make it very encouraging and easier for people to manually decipher what's good for you and what's bad in different fields. That's what I'm currently working on, one of the projects that I'm working on now. And I'll unveil it. I don't know if I'll unveil it here or on another channel. I probably will do sometime soon, and I'm learning a lot of things, how to do terms of service and whatnot, and how to be careful of legislation, privacy, and it's tough, but life is tough, and it's good to be learning new things each time, and not being too strict on yourself. When you're improving in life, I feel like many people are caught in the trap of being too strict, following the step extremely accurately, and there has to be flexibility because your mood, your sense of soul, your sense of emotions is always relative, and you have to be riding the waves and accepting how you feel day to day. If you don't feel like working, I don't think you should be working, to be honest. But if it's too often where you don't feel like working, then you need to find the root causes of what's causing you not to want to work. You might not like the location, the people, the food there, whatever it is. You need to be aware of it and change. Make some steps to change it. So hopefully you learned a little bit from this video, and it's given you like a perspective and some kind of awareness on my life and maybe your own life. And just keeping aware and remembering what's actually important amidst all of the noise, because there's a lot of noise I'm aware of around us, even if it's online or not. Thanks for watching. See you in another video.